What is up, everybody? I'm Pony Lawson and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving back into the dumpster known as TikTok. And much like a dumpster, we never know if we're going to find treasure or absolute trash. And these are some of my favorites because oftentimes I stumble across something that I never would have found otherwise. Not to mention, I think it helps up-and-coming tattooers realize that, hey, I'm not that bad. So put on your gloves because this could get dirty. Alright, this first one is obviously going to be a patch style tattoo, and I love the editing on this, where it makes it look like they're actually threading the patch into the skin. And now we'll wait for the big reveal. Yeah, this thing is dope. I think the artist did an excellent job with this one. It really does look like it's sitting on their skin, especially with that little thread on top. Now I know if we go back about 5 years ago, these tattoos weren't very common, but you see them a lot more nowadays. So in order to stand out with the style, you really have to hit the nail on the head. It looks like the tattooer did a great job with the direction in which this thread is flowing. It's not just straight up and down. Rather, there are curves where they need to be, making it look that much more realistic. Another thing that sells this one in particular is the little threading around the outside border that makes it look like it's actually stitched into the skin. Had those not been there, I still think it would be a great tattoo, but having those little additions just really send it home. So amazing job to the artist. It's nice to start this video off with a good tattoo. Let's see what's next. $100 blindfold tattoo. Oh boy. Was the artist blindfolded? Jamily is nigh life. Oh man, I mean, the red rose doesn't look as bad as the black roses, but it still looks bad. The clock, I don't know what is going on. Oh man, I mean, for $100, what do you expect? I would not trust anybody to give me a tattoo for $100 blindfolded, whether I was blindfolded or the artist. I'm not having either one. That little filigree on the side of the clock looks like asparagus. Yeah, growth. We'll call that a growth. You know, if I had to give this an honest breakdown, I'd say this is a nice mix of realism and neo-traditional. Just without the nice. And this is trash. I'll take this one home and pin it to the fridge. But I mean, come on. Not one part of this tattoo is good in any way, shape, or form. If I were doing these roses, I would try to mask those outlines on the rose a bit more with some shading, but clearly this tattooer doesn't really know how to pull off good shading, or lines for that matter. It almost makes me feel like that red rose is done by a different artist. However, when you look a lot closer, I mean, it's just as bad. I think the blending might be a little bit better, but I think that's because they had the saving grace of shading the entire rose. It doesn't seem like they really know how to control contrast and light and shadows when it comes to those black and gray ones. But we really need to talk about the lettering in the middle. The family, or Jamily, is nigh life. My life. I'd be curious to know if you guys were taught cursive in school. I know I was, but if you can't even pull it off on paper, how do you expect to pull it off on somebody's skin? And it makes me wonder if this is a trend we're going to see a lot more of when it comes to younger tattooers, if they're not being taught cursive in school. Maybe script should become a required element when it comes to a proper apprenticeship. Tattooers, let me know what you think. But overall, again, you get what you pay for. $100 for a surprise tattoo? Well, I'm sure they were surprised. But quite honestly, I've seen a lot worse tattoos that cost a lot more money. Let's check out what's next. All right, this one says impossible cover-up. Anxious to see how this turns out, because that's definitely a difficult cover-up. And he's going to cover it with this alien face. I have low expectations right now, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised. $100 let's see what they get. Just kidding, this one's not $100. But it seems like they're putting in a lot of work in the background. I'm just very curious to see how they pull off that alien face with that dark cover-up underneath. It's a cool reference. So far it looks like a lot of black in the middle. Well, this is definitely better than I expected, and it looks a lot better than the gesture that was there before. I think the background could use a lot of work. I mean, the space looks a bit lazy and the Saturn looks a bit off, but again, it looks better than the previous tattoo. And the alien does look pretty cool. Is this an illegal alien? I mean, the lettering lines aren't fully covered up at the top, but you'd have to use a lot of darker tones to cover those, and that would have made this thing very dark in the middle, so I'm glad they didn't go that route. It does seem like they tried to implement those lettering lines into the alien with some of that forehead texture, but I can still clearly see through that. There's not really much you could have done unless they had lasered it off or did a lightning session beforehand. And since those are lighter tones on top, those lines could come through in the future, but only time will tell. Let's see what else we've got. Oh boy, imagine taking off your blindfold and seeing this. Why are all these people getting tattooed blindfolded? If we haven't learned from the first one, we learned from this tapeworm baseball. And it's like the shading on the outside of the baseball is just absolutely pointless. It's doing nothing. It's interesting to see that some of the grass blades are outlined with no fill and other grass blades are completely filled in with no outline. This stitch work could have been so much better. I mean, use the color red for one. If we're gonna have a color tattoo, you might as well throw in some red in there as well, right? And on that note, a realistic baseball doesn't even have a hard edge around that stitching. So again, don't really know what was going on there. It's like a tapeworm or a millipede, some kind of bug, and it's gross. And it does look like the stitch work goes through that grass blade. Yeah, this one's rough. I'm gonna have to call this one trash. Have fun with that cover up. Next! All right, I'm gonna stop this one right here. This is definitely not the way to go about this style of tattoo. You need to have a full design put together before putting a bunch of mediocre tattoos on your skin. There are a lot of tattooers out there that do this style exceptionally well, and they have a design made beforehand. Because as we look through this one, it's just a lot of random designs put in random places, and it comes off that way. And if these were really good tattoos, I'd say you could get by with a lot. But they're not. If you break down each one of these tattoos individually, I'd give them a 5 out of 10. It just looks like you saved a bunch of tattoos to your Pinterest board and took it to your artist and said, line me up. I mean, and the diamond, it just doesn't even fit with the rest of the tattoos. I could see the Cupid and the sword and the rose and some words, but what is the diamond doing there? I'm all for these patchwork style sleeves, but you have to think about the end goal. Are they all spaced together correctly? Is it a cohesive design? Or is it just slapped together on the skin like this? I think the more thought you put into it, the happier you'll be in the long run. But what do I know? Let's see what's next. Oh, Jesus. I mean, do whatever makes you happy. If that makes you happy, then go for it. Good luck picking your nose. Or I guess that would make it easier. I don't know. Now, I used to spend a lot of time checking out these crazy body modifications online way back when. And I was intrigued because it takes a lot of balls. And not just on your forehead. I can only imagine you get a lot of attention. And maybe sometimes that's unwanted attention. Like when you go to the store to get bread. I don't even know if you eat bread, to be honest. Like when you go to the pet store to get your daily supply of crickets. Obviously, this is something you really love, and if you're okay with it, more power to you. It just makes me wonder what you wear for Halloween. I bet he's a pretty princess. I don't know. Real quick, I want to take a break and give a shout out to the sponsor of this channel, Mad Rabbit, a premium tattoo aftercare company. And although they may not be able to help out with some of the mistakes we've seen today, they do have products that can help keep your tattoo happy and healthy, from inception to beyond. So do yourself a favor, head on over to madrabbit.com and use code PONY20 to save 20% off your entire order. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, giving myself shitty tattoos until someone tells me to quit. Today might be the day, buddy. Also, if you have an idea of what I should do next, comment and I may do yours. Starting off strong with that face tattoo, you might end up like the last guy. What the f did you do to yourself? That just looks like an infection's brewing. Oh, he's got another cross on his chest. I wonder if he did that one himself too. I wouldn't doubt it. The old stick figure jumping on a trampoline, seen that one before. And is that an infinity symbol with a B in the middle? Or was that a fly? Oh. This one says, save me. Yeah, you do need some saving, my friend. It looks like he went right from the hand to his wrist, and he's just not stopping anytime soon. Oh my gosh. JQW? I wonder if that's a commenter's initials. And if so, hey, put my name on you somewhere. I think that'd be a blast. You do mine, I'll do yours. You go first. I promise I'll do it. And obviously he's doing these in his bedroom or garage maybe. It looks like there's some toolboxes in the background. I mean, this just looks like a mess. There's cords everywhere. I don't know what's happening. He doesn't even bother cleaning the stencil off his face before he starts his hand and leaves his hand super purple while he works on his wrist and then to his chest. Maybe he could fill in those eyebrows while he's at it. Doesn't it look like the salve was there before he added the E-M-E? Like it said salve? Do a picture of you not getting a job. Oh my goodness, I like how it has more comments than likes. Update, not stopping till I reach 1 million. Jesus Christ, man. 1 million what, infections? He's replying to all these and he's wearing a different shirt, so you know he's just doing this shit like every day. I'm gonna stop when someone tells me to quit. People tell him to quit. His response, no. Well, you know I like to never tell anybody to quit, but wouldn't be a bad idea. Or at least practice on some fake skin first before messing up your face like that. I mean, eyebrows grow back. Tattoos are forever.
Don't do that anymore. And so he replies,
look, I'm gonna do me no matter what it is. This shit, it's not that bad, you know? It could be worse. I already got this, which is cancerous now because I try to get it removed. So I'm at the point right now where I do not give a fuck. You You know, tattoos are art to me, you know? And so, if people can put them on me and I can become famous for it, why the f not? So I'm gonna keep doing it.
He's doing it all for the fame, bro.
Yeah, he's obviously just doing it for the attention, and it seems like he's getting it, so he's probably gonna keep going at it. So do us a favor, maybe don't follow this guy, don't comment, just let it die off. And on that note, I'm not gonna give him any more attention either. Let's see what's next. All right, here we've got a cute little blowfish, and I absolutely love these interactive tattoos. I think they're a lot of fun. The colors are nice, bright, and vivid, and I like how they didn't put a whole lot of color on the elbow itself, because generally that doesn't like to stick around for very long. The shades in the tail could be a bit smoother, but overall it's really not that bad. And it's nice to see something fresh as opposed to the typical ladybug on the inside of the elbow tattoo. I'm all about these clever tattoos, even if they aren't exceptionally well done. And a lot of times I love fun tattoos even more so than well done tattoos. They just bring a smile to everyone's face. But I do think this is a very fun and clever way to put your weenus to work. All right, and this one is, well, this one's practical. If you're eating a lot of condiments, could you imagine just driving down the street and your hand's on the wheel and you're just, oh shit, I have nowhere to dunk my nuggets. Oh, wait a minute. It could work, I can see it. Just don't take any hard turns. Oh, he's got 2 of them. Oh, that's sweet. So he could have ranch and barbecue. Now these are a lot deeper than the subdermal implants that I'm used to seeing. So it makes me wonder if he got these for that reason. Because I don't know what other reason you would use these for. I've seen stars, spirals, hearts, you name it. But I've never seen a dipping cup. I mean, I guess if you're trying to save on dishes, that works.
It's gotta hurt. Like, think about
I know, right? Ugh. That has to be ridiculous. I don't like it. All right, so I went to their page and I found another use for it, to feed peacocks. And also holding his girlfriend's nail polish. This is great. All right, now the cereal bowl's a bit much, but he is using a baby spoon, so I'm just not creative enough to think of all these ways that you could use it, I guess. But if you guys can think of any other uses for this hand implant, I'd be curious to know. Let me know in the comments below. Let's see what we've got next. POV, the tattoo you got in 2021 is fading away. Boy, I could go on all day about these tattoos. And I might receive some hate mail for these, but whatever, it is what it is. These kinds of tattoos are meant to fade away in 2 or 3 years, but I have heard about these tattoos lasting a bit longer. The thing that bugs me about these kinds of tattoos are they look good for a day or 2, maybe a week, but then they just look like for 3 years. This is a special kind of ink that's meant to break down and shrink until it's small enough for your body to remove. I don't think that's the best idea. Just draw it on, or use that company ink box, or just print off your own temporary tattoos. There are so many other ways to go about this than with an ink that, again, looks like it for a few years. This just really comes off as a gimmick to me. I don't mind the idea of semi-permanent tattoos, but the time in which the tattoos fade away needs to be a lot quicker, not years. You're still gonna have to sit through the painful process of applying this. You might as well get a real tattoo. And I bet these tattoos cost just as much as a regular tattoo, although they should be a lot cheaper since they're not going to be around for that long, which is difficult for me to say being a tattooer, as it's still the same amount of work going into these tattoos. I would be so disappointed if the work and time I put into a tattoo just faded away in 3 years, or even looked like shit for a year to 3 years. And honestly, this fresh one already looks like it's falling out. I'd be curious to see what the artist's portfolio looks like that do these. It's just blank skin or patchy, half-assed looking tattoos. If we pause on this section where the tattoo is half faded away, it just looks like somebody smudged some Sharpie marker on them, or they didn't wash their skin all the way. Either way, looks dirty. But that's going to be it for this week's episode. If you guys like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button as we push out new tattoo content every week. And remember, if you'd like to see your tattoos critiqued on the series, you can do so by sending them to ponycritiques@gmail.com. Once again, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you guys next week.